And, in some cases, as you study parasitology and parasite cleansing, you can figure out some of these harmful organisms, they do influence an individual's appetite and behavior if they're not cleaned out of the body. But going deeper than that, there's another parasitic dynamic that's going on. Okay, you have the food industry, and basically their ideal customer is somebody who is overweight, overeats constantly, and is addicted to these processed food products. Now, this person, you don't want them to die off because they'll stop buying your products. But maybe as a result of eating so unhealthily, they become chronically sick, but the ideal customer should still be functional, and they should still have discretionary income, so they can buy these cheap, low-quality foods for 4 to 6 decades of their adult life, and buy these products over and over and over again as you suck them dry financially and in terms of health. So, look, that's the food matrix. That's what I'm talking about, and it's important to know that that's going on. And please, I understand maybe you think I'm being too cynical, but listen, you have to understand that there exists certain predatory groups on this planet, and this is how they think. This is what goes on Wall Street. I mean, people, unfortunately, whether you want to call them sociopathic, whether you want to call them evil or immoral or unethical, but they think about how they can gain at the expense of somebody else. And by denying that this exists, you're simply just going to drop your awareness. So basically, it's important to understand that this goes on. Okay. So, basically, there's something else that goes on as well, which, is also parasitic in nature, which is you have the big pharma dynamic. And basically, again, you have these mega corporations, and they financially benefit when somebody is sick but stays alive for numerous decades, so that they can keep paying for these prescriptions month after month, year after year, decade after decade. So this is another dynamic that's going on, where you have someone that's eating so much unhealthy foods from big agra, then they get sick, then big pharma swoops in, then they capitalize on this poor lifelong health. And so then you have this individual, and they're paying to both. They're paying penance for the rest of their life to big agra and big pharma, and their health suffers, and basically it's very sad. And both of these industries would be, big pharma would be completely out of business if everyone was healthy and well, and big agra would just make a lot less money, selling more whole type foods. And so these groups are incentivized by people being in this habitual trance-like state. And it's just important to understand that's my life's mission, is to help people stop getting bounced back and forth between these two groups, while they get rich and everyone else gets poor and sick. And people are breaking out of this all the time, and that makes me extremely positive and optimistic. And I know you're going to do that if you haven't already, and my goal is to help you do that. But that's the food matrix, that exists. And